Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. In today's video, I'm going to be continuing my worst of 2024 series. This is part 3. So I did one back in March, then another in June, and this is the third quarter installment. I'm going to be doing one at the very end of the year as well. And I just figured it's a little bit easier to break it up into 4 parts rather than talking about it just in one ginormous video at the end. It's way less overwhelming that way. So if you missed parts 1 and 2, I'll link them at the end of this video and then you can check those out in case you missed them. And I'm also going to be doing a best of for third quarter, so stay tuned for that coming up sometime later this week. But I always like to start with the negative and then end on a positive note. So today we're going to talk about all the things that I absolutely hated the last couple of months. And thankfully there aren't that many things to talk about. And I think that's just because I've started to get better about not buying every single new release. And I try to just buy things that I know I'm really going to love. The only exception to that is if it's like a super viral product that I really just want to talk about, or if I'm getting a lot of requests for it. But otherwise, I'm really trying to rein in my spending and not feel like I have to buy every single new product. Also, I did a no buy in July, so there was a whole month where I didn't buy anything. So really these products are mostly from August and September. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. The first product is from Hello Sunday. This is their SPF 50 lip balm. I bought this right before I went on vacation. I was hoping to get something to help protect my lips while I was going to be out in the sun a lot. And I will never forget the one and only time I used this product, and that was during a Get Ready With Me. I put this on initially because I just wanted to let it sit on my lips for a while as I did the rest of my makeup, and then I could get a good sense of how well it moisturized. And when I first put it on, it had a really nice texture. It has a nice strawberry scent, so I was pleased with it initially. But as I was talking in the video and just kind of going on, I didn't even lick my lips, but somehow this just was kind of migrating inside my mouth as I was talking, and it has the single worst taste of any lip product I think I've ever tried in my life. It was so bad, it tasted like I drank some cleaning chemicals or bleach or something. It was just this really harsh, bitter taste that I could not get rid of. I remember taking a swig of my Diet Coke during the video trying to get rid of it, and that didn't help. I ended up chewing some gum after I was done filming. That didn't help. I brushed my teeth. Like, it was just lingering for a really long time, and it was to the point where it was making me feel sick. I just couldn't handle it. So I was like, I'm never trying this again. And I think the reason for that is probably because it has chemical sunscreens, avobenzone, octisalate, homosalate. Those are the chemical filters you usually find in sunscreens for your face and body. And I did end up buying other SPF lip products. I got one from In Beauty Project and one's from e.l.f. And none of those had the chemical taste because they're using mineral sunscreens. So I ended up being really happy with those and never went back to this one. And if you take a look at the Sephora website, the reviews are like pretty much all the same thing. They're like 1 and 2 stars. Everybody hates the taste of this product. So I would not buy this. Do not touch it with a 10-foot pole. Trust me, it is not worth it. The next big fail was this eyeliner from Haus Labs. This is the Clear Cut Liquid Eyeliner. And you might remember me trying this again in a Get Ready With Me video, and I couldn't believe how bad this was. I really haven't tried a terrible product from Haus Labs. I think most of their stuff has been really good, really high quality. But this, I mean, you wouldn't think you could screw up an eyeliner, but it had all these claims of being like a super jet black formula. I think it's supposed to be like some sort of clean technology, and I use that word very loosely. I want to say the description said something about it has the blackest pigment that's also like a clean type of formula. So I don't know what they did, but when I went to try to use this, I had so much trouble because the pigment wouldn't come out of the tip if I held it this way. I did initially swipe it on my hand and I was like, oh yeah, it's really dark, it's black, it's a nice color. Then I went to use it like this and it was like it had run out of ink. It was like an eyeliner that was 6 months old or something. And I remember just struggling trying to get this to go on and it wouldn't. So I was really confused. I actually thought I got a bad one because when I went and looked at the reviews, they were all super positive, like 5-star reviews. Then I realized that they were all those incentivized reviews. And if you look now, there are a ton of the same complaints that I have, that it seems like it's running out or that it's dried out, and that when you go to apply it, it almost looks gray on your eyes instead of black. And not for nothing, but the same thing happened with the Hello Sunday lip balm that I was just talking about, when I initially saw it, it had 5-star, great reviews, everybody loving it. And again, they were all incentivized because the product had literally just launched. There wasn't any time for people to actually buy it, get it home, and try it. And not to go off on a tangent, but I just want to quickly say this because I know I often mention the incentivized reviews and not being able to trust them. And I did get a couple of comments from some of you saying that you're part of one of those programs like Influenced or Buzz Agent, and that you don't lie, that you give your honest opinion. And I totally believe that there are people out there who are part of the programs who give honest reviews. So I'm not saying it's everybody, but I think the reason that the brands and Sephora use these programs to do this is because statistically, more often than not, people who get something for free are more likely to give a more favorable review, especially if it's kind of implied that there's a threat that you won't get any more if you don't give a good review. I know that they tell you you can be honest, but I think everybody kind of feels like, well, if I give a negative review, they're probably not going to reach out to me again. And there's that fear of getting cut from the program. In many cases, some people might just look toward the positive aspects of the product and not really mention the negatives in some of those reviews. All that to say, I don't mean to offend anybody who is part of those programs. If you're honest, that's great. And like I said, I have seen some incentivized reviews that give it a bad score, but the overwhelming majority are positive 4 and 5-star reviews. And in the case of these two products, that's all there were in the beginning. And if you look now, they're almost all negative. So clearly there were a lot of people who were giving this a positive review when it didn't deserve it. So that's the reason that I always caution you guys on those incentivized reviews. Not saying that they're all bad, but I would definitely just filter those out if you can and just read the ones from people who actually purchase the product themselves. So next up, I have a couple foundations. The first one I actually liked when I did my first impression on it, but I've since decided that I don't really like it, and that's the Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint from Charlotte Tilbury. So I will admit I am completely at fault for even purchasing this because I really didn't look too into what it actually was. I'm thinking it's a foundation stick. I just bought it really without reading the description, and it really is supposed to be more like a glowy skin tint. And while I do like skin tints, I'm not about the glow because I just feel like it highlights every pore and texture and line in my skin. So maybe the first time I tried this, I was just having a really great skin day. I don't know. But the subsequent times I tried this, I really did not like it, especially like when I went outside and I wasn't in the studio lights. I felt like my skin just didn't look great. And the coverage on this is also very sheer. Again, totally my fault for thinking that it was a foundation stick, but to me, this was basically like putting a glowy primer all over my face, and that was it. So, I mean, I know a lot of people do love this one. Again, this is just my opinion. And I hope, as always, when you're watching this video, I know I'm being negative, but these are just products that didn't work for me. Of course, they're going to work for some of you. So I hope that you don't take it too much to heart. We all have different preferences and skin types and all of that. So while I initially thought that this was okay, as I started to wear it more, I realized that I really didn't like this at all. Another product that I kind of had a similar experience with was the new Patrick Ta foundation, and this was super expensive, so I think I'm probably going to return this along with the House Labs eyeliner. I think I still have time to do that. But in a recent video, I did a 4-day wear test on this, and the first day I kind of liked it. I didn't say it was like my favorite foundation ever, but I thought it was pretty good. And the whole time I kept thinking maybe if I put this on top of a primer, or maybe if I put powder on top of it, it'll look better. And it just never did. And when I was editing that video back and going over each day, I kept thinking my skin just doesn't look as nice as it usually does. And I ended up getting a lot of comments from you guys in that video saying that you didn't think that this looked great either. Now, again, I don't feel like the formula is bad. It's not a bad product, but it just didn't work for me and my needs. I think it's great for dry skin. It has a really emollient feel. It's very hydrating, but it also has that greasiness to it and a little bit of oiliness. And I think because of that, it gave this glow to my skin. And similar to the Charlotte Tilbury stick, I think it just ends up drawing attention to all the stuff that I don't want it to highlight. So maybe this is better for people who have like really perfect, really flawless skin, but I'm about to be 47 next month. My skin is nowhere near perfect, and I've just come to realize that glowy complexion products are not for me. So these two, I'm sure will look great on a lot of people, but they're not for me. Next up is a product that is viral all over TikTok, and I ended up trying it and just absolutely hating it. It doesn't work for me at all. And it's the lip liner stain from Sashu or Sasho. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but basically this is a peel off lip stain. So you put kind of a thick layer all over your lips, or you can just use it as a liner. Then you have to wait a little while. I think it's like 10 to 20 minutes somewhere in there. And then you just go ahead and peel it off. So I tried this a couple of times and just couldn't make it work. First of all, I didn't feel like this was super user-friendly because you have to leave it on all that time. So you really need to make sure that you have, a lot of time while you're getting ready if you're gonna be using this. And also it kind of gets sticky while it's drying. So I felt like I had to keep my mouth open the whole time, which was sort of weird and awkward. And then when I tried to get this to peel off, it was so hard to remove. I had the worst time. It just kind of came off in little pieces. It wasn't like all in one sheet like I kept seeing over on TikTok. And I'm not sure if that's because my lips have like a lot of cracks and valleys in them. So maybe the product kind of sunk into the lines and that prevented it from being torn off easily. But it was not the experience that I saw on TikTok where everybody would just kind of like peel it off all in one sheet. It could be that they have smoother lips. I know a lot of people have lip filler. It could have been something like that. I don't know. But that was definitely not my experience. And it even ripped a little bit of my lips. Like when I went to peel it off, it kind of got caught on this one area. And when I went to peel it, it actually like took the skin of my lip off with it. So then I had like a sore spot right here for a while. And while it did technically stain my lips, I didn't feel like it lasted long enough to be worth like the whole process that this takes. I felt like it kind of faded unevenly throughout the day and it just didn't last as long as I thought it would. So this one was definitely a huge fail, not in a hurry to use that again. All right, next let's talk about Blake Brown Beauty. I know I gave the shampoo and hair mask a pretty positive review during my first impression. I think I had these in a haul video or something, and I had tried it once and I really loved the way my hair looked initially. But as I continued to use these products, my hair started feeling more dried out. And since I got these, I've actually watched some videos talking about the ingredients and kind of deep diving into those. And the shampoo, even though it claims to be moisturizing, it has a lot of clarifying ingredients in it, and over time, that's definitely going to strip your hair. It's possible that the reason my hair looked good the first time I used it is just because maybe my hair was in need of clarifying. We have hard water at my house because we have a well, so I definitely tend to get mineral buildup in my hair, and I typically use a clarifying shampoo once a week or once every other week. So it could be that I just happened to use this at the right time, but as I continued to use it, I felt like every day my hair was getting kind of more and more dry. Not to mention, I just absolutely hate this packaging. I mentioned that in the initial video. It's just really big and bulky, and it's cumbersome to use in the shower to have to like twist the cap off of the shampoo. Then you pour it in your hand. Then you have to try to get this cap back on, but the shampoo's like running out of your hand. So that aspect of it, I've never liked. And as I've been using the products, it's just continued to annoy me even more. So I'm definitely not impressed with this line anymore. Not to mention, these are super expensive. They're like $19.99 each, which is pretty much salon hair care prices, not drugstore. So anyway, I'm definitely not going to be repurchasing these. I think I'll probably continue to use it once every week or every 2 weeks, just when I need to clarify my hair. But once they're gone, I am definitely not buying these again. Moving on to a couple of skincare products, the Clarins Cryo Flash Cream Mask. This is another one that is just absolutely going viral on TikTok and all over social media. I heard a claim somewhere about this that it's supposed to lower the temperature of your skin by 7 degrees or something like that. And it's supposed to just kind of tighten and firm and pull everything taut. Even if it does do that, I was not a fan of this mask because it has a menthol derivative in it, and that's what gives you the cooling sensation. So think about like the ingredient in cough drops that helps to soothe your throat, like that menthol kind of cooling, not an actual cooling. So it doesn't actually feel cold. When I first put it on, I don't know, it was almost like that stingy, kind of like almost a little bit burning cold sensation, if that makes sense. I know they're opposites, but I could just tell right away that it was gonna irritate my skin. And sure enough, I really didn't keep it on for that long. I ended up washing it off and there was a little bit of like redness going on. So I didn't love that about it. And then of course I ended up seeing some videos from dermatologists and experts talking about this and how really it has like the sensation of cooling and you think it's doing something, but really there's not really a lot in here that's gonna cause some dramatic, crazy results. For me, I think of it kind of like the lip plumpers that have the peppermint oil in it and it tingles so you feel like it's doing something, but it's really not doing anything. It's just irritating your lips. It's not making them any bigger. So I don't love it. I feel like it's a gimmick. I did try their V-Facial Intensive Wrap though, and I loved this one. This one made my skin so soft and velvety, so I did enjoy this a lot. But for me, the Cryo one was definitely a bust. Another skincare product I really didn't like is from that new line at Walgreens where they have all the dupes. I did an entire video on these, and this is supposed to be a dupe for the Youth to the People Superfood Cleanser. It has a lot of the same ingredients, like a lot of the superfood extracts and all of that. But what I couldn't get past with this is the fragrance. It is so heavily fragranced, and especially like compared to the Youth to the People one, oh my gosh, it's like a whole bottle of perfume right in here. It is so strong, and not even perfume. It almost smells like some type of like men's cologne or something. It just kind of like smacks you in the face. The first day I got this, actually, I was taking everything out of the bag like in my kitchen, and I just was like putting stuff on my hand. And then I was like, oh, I'll just try like washing my hands with this to see what it's like. And as I'm washing my hands, I'm like, yeah, it's a nice gentle cleanser. It feels good. It wasn't drying. But then I was like kind of struck by how strong the smell was. Then I went out somewhere and I'm driving my car and my hands are like over here and I could smell it. Like for the next few hours, I could just smell this smell. And I started thinking to myself, there is no way I want to put this on my face because I can smell it on my hands and they're not even near my face. So I did end up trying it on my face anyway, just for the heck of it to see what happened. And it was just, I couldn't handle the smell anymore. I actually had to go and wash my face again with something else because the perfume is just way too strong. I don't know what they were thinking. I've never in my life had a skincare product that smelled as strongly as this does. And I just want to make it clear too, I'm not against like fragranced skincare. I know there are a lot of people here on YouTube, dermatologists and stuff, who will tell you to avoid fragrance, but some of my favorite skincare products have fragrance in them. So I'm not against it, but this particular product is way over the top. All right, guys, well, now that I got all of that off of my chest, I feel much better. I'm just kidding. It's really not that serious, but I hope that this video was helpful for you guys, especially if you have some of the same likes and dislikes as me and, you know, the same skin type and all of that. And if you don't, maybe you'll really enjoy some of these products. I've actually had people tell me that they watch my channel because everything that I don't like, they end up loving. So, hey, if that is you and you are like the polar opposite of me, then maybe this is actually more like a best of video for you. So anyway, I want to thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. I really, really appreciate it. And if you missed parts 1 and 2, I will link them right over here on the side of the screen that you could check those out next. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, be sure to do that before you go. And I will see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.